It's a hockey night in St. Louis, and that means the Canadiens' Max Pacioretty and his teammate Brendan Gallagher in town. The Blues will counter with their skilled players of Paul Stastny and TJ Oshie. The Blues and Canadiens, you'll see it now on Fox Sports Midwest. It's been a rugged stretch of opponents for the Blues here at Scottrade. That continues tonight as the East-leading Montreal Canadiens make their one and only visit here to St. Louis. It's the Blues and Habs, and it's a game you'll see on Fox Sports Midwest. You see an exciting night for hockey here in St. Louis. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Scottrade, and welcome to Blues Hockey on Fox Sports Midwest. I'm Pat Paris. Of course, there's no place like home, and the Blues have been among the league's best on home ice all season long. But through 3 games of this current 4-game homestand, the Blues haven't been playing their typical best, recording just 1 win. That can all change with a strong performance tonight against the Canadiens. For the call, let's bring in John Kelly and Darren Pang. Guys?
All right, Pat, thank you very much. In this month, Darren, as you know, the Blues are only 3-3 on home ice, and now they have a tough stretch of 11 of 14 on the road after tonight. So, Darren, tonight's game is a big one for the St. Louis Blues.
Well, you certainly want to establish how you want to play, and I fully understand that the month of February is a very difficult one for the players around the NHL and the coaches and everybody else, but now's the time to really turn it up. March is going to be very difficult, as you well mentioned, and obviously a good game against Boston, an inconsistent game against Pittsburgh. You want to establish a real solid game here against the Montreal Canadiens, a top team in the National Hockey League.
And when you're not scoring a lot of goals, you have to mix up the lines. In particular, Alexander Steen and Jaden Schwartz will have new line mates tonight, Darren.
Well, we're talking about 3 left wingers that have made the swap, including Berglund. But you look at Alexander Steen moving from the Backes and Oshie line. That line, of course, was one of the hottest coming out of January number 1. He will play with Jori Lehtera and Vladdy Tarasenko. And obviously, whenever you've got a guy like Alexander Steen on your line, you're going to push guys into areas of the ice that they may not want to go into. But for Jaden Schwartz as well, he's going to move alongside Paul Stastny and Dmitry Yashkin. And of course, Schwartz, Lehtera, and Tarasenko so good to begin with, but a different look. I mean, Jaden Schwartz is a hound on the puck. He's tenacious like you read about, and obviously he likes playing with Paul Stastny. Maybe this one can work. Dmitry Yashkin and Stastny have been very good so far this season.
Perhaps the key guy for the Montreal Canadiens is Max Pacioretty. He has 29 goals, and his line has done a lot of damage this year.
Well, they really have. David Desharnais, the smaller centerman, is extremely bright on the ice, and don't underestimate the size of Desharnais because he's strong on the puck, he's feisty, and now he's got Brendan Gallagher on the right side. There are sometimes they put Dale Weiss right there, but for Max Pacioretty, he's been a terrific player at even strength. He's got 24 even strength goals. That's 3rd most in the NHL. 1 behind Vladdy Tarasenko, who's got 25. Pacioretty's got a wicked wrist shot. He really scores an awful lot on the rush, and he loves going between the legs. It's one of his favorite shots. When he has a chance between he and the goaltender, he will get the goaltender quickly moving and then fire it between the legs.
The Canadiens are in town, the 2nd and final regular season game. Earlier this year, the Blues lost in Montreal 4-1. And one of the very best in the business is Carey Price. As a matter of fact, he leads the league in goals against and save percentage. And of course, last year, he led Canada to the gold medal in Sochi. And he'll be opposed by the rookie Jake Allen. And all he has done this year is win all 6 games in 2015. It's Allen against Price. The Blues and Canadiens next on Fox Sports Midwest. St. Louis Blues Hockey is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. In, up, fix, out, Dobbs does it all. Get great offers on 2015 Chevy models. Find new roads at your Mid-America Chevrolet dealer. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And welcome back to Scottrade. The Blues and Canadiens and Blues Hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. It is Backes, Berglund, and Oshie against Pacioretty, David Desharnais, and Brendan Gallagher. The Canadiens' top line, and here's Desharnais. And chased to the corner by Backes. Now it's to the line, tipped by Berglund, and kept in by Gilbert. And Desharnais again back of the goal. And now the big captain comes over there on for Oshie. And now ahead to Berglund, one man back. And he comes in a shot. And that's hit by Gilbert just wide of Carey Price.
That's a good shot there by Patrick Berglund on the off wing right there. Obviously, when the goaltender's preoccupied with maybe that puck hitting the stick, it's good to fire it right off the hop. It might just change directions a little bit or create a little bit of a knuckler as well.
And now it's kept in at the line by Carl Gunnarsson. Tipped by the Canadiens, held in by Lindholm, now for Steen. And his shot up high and a glove save by Price. And then taken by Tarasenko. Hard pass back to Gunnarsson. His shot blocked. And now Andrei Markov in the corner, lost it. Puck centered through the slot. Chopped that by Gunnarsson. And that's blocked in front by PK Subban. And the Canadiens to center ice.
Oh, that all starts with a terrific pinch there by Lindholm on the far right side, keeping that puck in.
And now Steen to center ice for Schwartz. He was stripped of the puck, and then Steen drops it back for Gunnarsson. And now for Lindholm. Up the wall for Yachkin. On with Stastny and Schwartz. And the Canadiens get it back, and Brandon Pruss. Feathers one through some legs to the corner. Now Pruss gets it again. And once out high instead goes back of the goal for Dale Weiss. And there's Ian Cole for the Blues. On defense with Jackman. And Cole gets it free. And a pass ahead for Yashkin. Can't clear it. Now Pruss with it in the deep slot. And now tipped. And that goes out of play as the young Swede Delarose tips that one all the way over the goal and out of play. And our Dobbs starting goaltenders. Two red-hot goaltenders, Darren. Carey Price, 6-0-1 in his last 7. And Jake Allen's won 6 straight.
Well, Jake Allen is a big fan, too, of Carey Price. And Jake Allen played 1 year with the Junior Canadiens as well. Lost 4-1 in Montreal. That was quite a moment for him, though, considering his grandmother got to see him pro hockey for the first time. Made 26 saves out of 30. Meanwhile, Carey Price was real good in that game, making 31 saves in that Canadiens 4-1 win.
And from the face-off, we have the top 2 face-off teams in the league involved in this game. The Blues are number 1, the Canadiens just behind. And now it's swept around the boards. And Bourneval gets it out for the Canadiens. And Ryan Reeves there for the Blues. It is Reeves, Ott, and Gotch. As Ott is back in the lineup. Of course, his wife Erica gave birth to Maverick Bradley the other night. And again, congratulations to the Ott family. And Lindholm tips it on to Reeves. Manny Malhotra there at center ice. Breaks it up. And now Gotch again. Plays it back in the blue zone. And here's Gunnarsson. And he smoked out back of the goal. The Canadiens force a turnover. Now Gilbert on the near side and a high shot there by Nathan Beaulieu. And that's off the glass. Flipped in deep by Gallagher. Oh, now spun in front, and that's broken up by the Blues. And Lindholm to center ice. And Gilbert now in for Desharnais. And the speedster, a shot and a glove save by Allen. And we get a whistle.
A good save there for Jake Allen. Remember that one goal he gave up against the Boston Bruins on that Brad Marchand goal that he didn't like it. No goalie does. And so you make sure you pay attention to details with that glove. It's from outside, so it's an easy save to make. Gets down on the butterfly, gets his hands up high. Make sure he takes that away. Face-off now to his right. And you mentioned this should be one heck of a battle on the face-off dots in this hockey game. Two of the 2 best in the NHL.
It is Laterra against Thomas Plekanec. And the Blues win this one. Tarasenko for Bouwmeester. Trying to hit Steen behind the defense. That was blocked there by Markov. And now Markov again in for Plekanec. Top of the circle, a shot and a glove save by Allen. And again, a face-off in the blue zone, and now Galchenyuk and Steen do some slashing in front. And they have words.
Well, a couple of chances on the rush, and that's that quick explosiveness of the Montreal Canadiens. Good defensive play by Markov. He easily read that pass by Jay Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester trying to fire it right up the gut there to Tarasenko, but easily picked off there.
The Blues on home ice this year, 22-7-2. The Canadiens on the road, 17-9-1. It is Steen against Plekanec. And again, the Blues control it. And Bouwmeester for Laterra. Quick wide feed and then jammed in by Tarasenko. And around for Steen. Comes around the dasher. And it's tipped by the Canadiens, but there's Laterra supporting, and now Tarasenko and Subban get their sticks up near the line. And Laterra. He muscles his way back to the Canadian goal. And now Pietrangelo comes in. Back on the line, Tarasenko with it. He fakes it now to the slot, and a shot blocked by Galchenyuk, and he lobs it high to center ice. And then flipped back in by Pietrangelo.
Well, Tarasenko bought some time there, cut in. He was very methodically cutting back towards his left. Looked like he had a lot of time there, and he was trying to find that right hole. Looked to me like he wasn't firing that to score. He was firing that to find a person in front of the net.
And a nice pass by Jackman. And now moved along by Yashkin. A shot. And there's Price again with the glove. And a stoppage.
Well, we're going to see a ton of battles in this game, of course. The Montreal Canadiens are without Alexei Emelin and Gonchar as well on the blue line. But here's the battle here between PK Subban and Tarasenko. Both players getting them up high. Subban's job is to take away time and space as much as possible against Tarasenko, and there was that last chance there.
Tarasenko had the Blues' only goal in a 4-1 loss in late November in Montreal. Pacioretty led the way with 2 goals for the Canadiens. Now Malhotra to center ice, lost it, and Schwartz deals it back to Jackman. And now Cole up the wing for Yashkin. And he gets it deep, Stastny there now for Yashkin. Nice move, in around the goal, wraparound attempt, and that was blocked. And a great effort there by Yashkin. Now Cole gets it. Here's Cole, a shot, and that's blocked by Prost. And then played around by the Canadiens. Jackman a good pinch there to hold it in. And now Prost recovers for the Canadiens for Jacob Delarose, a rookie out of Sweden.
Yeah, he's a good one. No question about that. But what a veteran move by Stastny. Using his stick, slashing the stick, getting the puck back to Yashkin. And Yashkin makes a nearly brilliant move there and going around the net.
And now the puck is swatted down the ice by the Canadiens. And here's Cole, who scored the other night on his birthday. To the Montreal line, taken by Tom Gilbert. And then Beaulieu, Reeves fell down, walked along by Gallagher. His pass blocked. Gilbert with it, a shot blocked by Gotch. And now Darnay back of the Blues goal. In this scoreless game, centers it. And that's knocked away and feathered to center ice by Bouwmeester. And then handed right back to Pietrangelo. And he steers it back of the goal to his partner. And now Bouwmeester tipped along by Oshie. And recovered by Berglund. Here's Oshie again. He comes in for a shot, blocked by Gilbert. And then Oshie will jam it back to the goal. Backes there. And trying to settle the puck. Get some help there from Berglund. And your guest on the pregame show, Patrick Berglund to the corner. Along with Oshie. Now back to Oshie on the give and go, but it was just off the mark. And then scooped up by Pacioretty.
And one of the things when you change lines like this, you have to be patient as a coaching staff too to allow them time for chemistry. And that's one of the things I wanted to get into with Patrick Berglund was like, how long does it take? And that's why it's important to have that first couple of good shifts. You don't want any hesitancy on the coaching staff's part that they end up switching it up. You want to give these guys an opportunity to blend in and form that chemistry if that's the way the change is going to be.
Now it is Gunnarsson for the Blues. Off the boards for Tarasenko. He works in slowly. In front for Laterra. And he got in too tight, trying to get it across to Steen.
What a play by Markov.
And now Steen back to line, but that was just out of the reach of Lindholm. And the Blues go back. Not dressed tonight, it's Lindstrom, Chris Butler, and Chris Porter. And now Tarasenko from the angle, a shot, and Price had that one covered. And he smothers with his glove. And again, Tarasenko and Subban having words. No score here in the first period.
Well, Dmitry Yashkin, he and Paul Stastny have worked together very well. Even though he's a left-hand shot, he loves playing on the right side. There's the chip in by Yashkin. Watch the support and the slash by Stastny to get that puck back over there to Yashkin, and Yashkin fakes once and then goes around, and look at the push-off ability of Price, but he gets help from De La Rose. There's no way that Price could have got back there with his right pad. He might have got back there with the blade of his stick, but that was a good hesitation deke move, and the key to that kind of wraparound is luring the goaltender and thinking you're shooting so he's frozen. And he did freeze Carey Price with a very, very good move there.
And almost scored on that wraparound. There's a bad hop off the glass. It's in front, but now clear to the line. Kept in by Schwartz. And then Gilbert down low for Beaulieu. And the Blues hound the puck again. Stastny. They'll smash it back of the goal. Price, who handles the puck very well. That was one key for the Blues tonight. Turned over again. Now Stastny for Schwartz. And it pinballs around in front. But the Blues want to keep the puck away from Price as much as they can.
I tell you what, the fundamentals of the game for Lindblom is strong. Anything around the boards, Lindblom's there, making sure that he takes away the opportunity for the winger to get out of the zone. But his reads have been right on it to begin this hockey game.
And now Gilbert will twist it back of the goal again for Beaulieu, their first-round pick in 2011. And Oshie watches him. Tipped to center by Gallagher. And some good neutral zone play there by the Blues. Backus now for Pietrangelo. Off the stick of Berglund. And jammed to center ice by Gilbert. And now Gallagher again. Into Pacioretty, a high shot, and that goes off the glass. And all the way back to center ice. And Subban now ahead. Here's Desharnais, 3-on-2. Desharnais in front, Pacioretty. Side of the goal. Oh, and Gallagher was there but couldn't tip it in. Now Markov on the line. A drive, and that goes off a body and just wide. And Allen had no idea where that was.
No, hit a shin pad it looked like, but what a backhand pass by David Desharnais. Eyes in the back of his head to feed that over to his left.
And now Subban is chopped down by Steen. And the puck on free for Gallagher. And he takes a hit from Jackman and gets it out.
And Subban continuing on with Alexander Steen. Steen looking around to see if there's any penalty.
Yep.
There is. Okay, the backside referee side.
And now it's Steen in the Canadian zone. And his pass, Stastny just on the ice. As Jake Allen has gone off for the extra man on this delayed penalty. Tarasenko to center for Stastny. Drops it off the Cole. Tipped by Steen. And now Price with a good read comes out and touches. And we will get a power play for the Blues.
PK Subban heavily involved physically early in this game.
76, 2 for cross-checking.
We saw what happened in the early situation twice against Vladdy Tarasenko. And their sticks are up real high. Steen's trying to get out of there, and then he continues on with a little bit of a whack on the arms and a little cross-check right there. And for PK Subban, he could barely watch, he told us this morning, he could barely watch his younger brother Malcolm play his first NHL game right here at Scottrade, playing for the Boston Bruins. He said it was so difficult to watch him. He was nervous for him. And then when he got pulled, he said, you know, it's good for him to get pulled. It's good experience to get pulled.
Easy for PK to say.
Yeah, and, you know, we showed PK Subban's parents here, and they had actually traveled all the way to Edmonton from Toronto in anticipation that Malcolm was going to play there. So he doesn't play there, so they get the flight here to St. Louis. So they did travel all over the place to see their son play their first game.
And PK is in the box here for cross-checking. The Canadians already tonight have blocked 5 shots. Blues in the power play ranked 4th. The Canadians 6th on the PK. And now Yashkin to the corner. Lost it. And it is fired all the way down the ice by Beaulieu. The Blues need to simplify things in the power play, as Ray Bennett told us before the game. Better entries and better execution. Here's an entry now.
5-man forward unit.
And Price, his pass tipped back of the goal. And Oshie gets it for the Blues. And now for Tarasenko. Out high for Steen. Steen leaves it for Tarasenko. Drops it off to Steen, winds and fires it. And that's blocked again in the slot.
That hit Markov in the back of the leg.
And now Backus with 9 power play goals. To the line for Steen. Fakes it on to Tarasenko. In front. And Backus, a no-look shot. And it goes on goal. It is saved by Price.
You know, it looked like Tarasenko might have been looking to the far side, dot to dot, for the right-handed TJ Oshie. So the two men on the point, TJ Oshie and Alexander Steen, they worked this over yesterday in practice. So one a 5-man forward unit, and then the other one with two defensemen, Gunnarsson and Alex Pietrangelo there. But Carey Price, calm, cool, and collected, smothers that one up to his left.
And now back is on the face-off. Now Holtra, who's the top face-off man in the entire league, wins it. And the Canadians shoot it down the ice with 25 to go in the Blues power play.
It's remarkable with that eye injury that he is still playing in the NHL. Remarkable.
We're talking about Malhotra, of course.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, he missed almost the entire year. Now Steen across. Here's Oshie. He gets it back. And a shot by Oshie, and that was just off the mark. And I believe off a Canadian again. Now Prush trying to clear it for the Habs, and he does. And it trickles back to center ice.
You know, that play around the boards, it was going so slow, Tarasenko waited for Steen to get it.
And a shot by Backes.
And there was a long way for Steen to go at the left point to get that far down below. And
here are the Canadians in. A shot just wide by Gallagher. Wow. Set up by Desharnais again. And Subban is back, so the Blues are 0 for 1 on the power play. They had one shot. And it's ripped in by Pietrangelo. And now around for Schwartz. He turns, and it's a skate in front. Desharnais. And ahead for Pacioretty. He can't get it by Pietrangelo. And the Canadians reload at center ice again. And hammered in by Gallagher. And then Pacioretty working against Pietrangelo. And comes around Galchenyuk. Former 3rd overall pick by the Canadians. On the cycle. He's missed the last couple with the flu. Now for Lars Eller, a former Blues draft choice. Eller for Galchenyuk. To the line. Subban a drive, and that goes wide again.
And how about that trade that Montreal made? Dmitry Yashkin was with his buddy Yuri Sekach last night for dinner.
And as it turns out, it was a farewell dinner for Sekach as he was traded to Anaheim today. No score in the first period. Well, yesterday at practice, TJ Oshie, his biggest fan, Chris Hendrickson, down from North Dakota. His wish was to come to St. Louis and meet TJ. He was on the ice with the Blues superstar. He was on the Zamboni. He had lunch with TJ. It has been quite a weekend, and Chris has joined me in the broadcast booth here tonight. And he's going to watch us for a while here. And, you know, Panger, wouldn't be awesome if Chris's buddy Oshie could score a goal? Well, Chris is up here in the broadcast booth tonight and watch his hero in action here as a St. Louis Blue. What a nice young man he is.
Oh, he's a terrific man. He sat on the bench, too, for the warm-up. Watched TJ Oshie flip pucks up and down with trainer Ray Barilli as he does every single warm-up near the very end. Became a fan of TJ Oshie's while Oshie was at North Dakota. It's been a great couple of days, Chris. Great having you here in St. Louis, you and your family.
Absolutely. Now it is Backes on with Berglund and Oshie. And the puck is tipped away by Oshie. And Subban for the Canadians. And now Galchenyuk. Gunnarsson knocks it away, but not out. Markov at the line. There's Markov. He goes back for Subban. And his drive, they score! And may have been tipped in by Galchenyuk. And the Canadians take a 1-0 lead.
Well, Markov does a great job of buying time on the left point, and he knows he's going to go back to PK Subban on the right. Subban was aiming for Galchenyuk the entire time here. There's no question about that. This line of Lars Eller, Plekanec, and Galchenyuk. Galchenyuk came from PK Subban's left. After the puck squirted back to Markov. See, Markov brings everybody over to the left, makes a really nice move. Right point wide open, and by this time Galchenyuk has moved over from the left and perfectly redirects that. I had a great view of it from here, and it goes beyond the stick side there with traffic in front of the net for Plekanec and Lars Eller going to the front of the net. It was a well-executed play by Montreal.
And again, coming off the flu, he gets his 17th of the year at 13:22. And the Canadians strike first. Now it comes around, Jackman trying to pinch in. It goes by him. And no icing here. And Ian Cole back to get it for the Blues. Now for Reeves. Here's Jackman ahead for Ott. And then Pust is driven down by Reeves. Here are the Blues trying the left wing side. Jackman sails it in. Reeves leaves it. And now Ott from the corner shot hit his own man. And then Tenorti gets it back to the goal for Greg Patterin. And now a skirmish in that corner. And it comes to center. And back into the zone. Now in the slot. Tarasenko a shot. Another shot by Tarasenko.
Boy, a lot of blocked shots by Montreal here.
And now it's Bouwmeester drive. And that was blocked again. And the Canadiens fire it down the ice. And that'll be an icing call.
Well, I think the Blues can just keep firing that puck. Eventually they're going to find their way through. But a lot of good shot blocks there by Montreal as they go to a Toyota keys to the game and funnel more pucks to the net. The stats have proven that when the Blues have 30 or more, they're on the winning side of the ledger like you read about. And a little more sustained pressure in the offensive zone. The last couple of games have been more like pop gun offense, a little bit one and done. So I think with the change of lines, they're looking to energize things. And oh, that is out of play, but it did glance off the top of the boards, I think, from my angle here, JK.
The Canadian goal, Galchenyuk from Subban and Markov at 13:22.
Oh, there's some Blues fans, and you got to love seeing these young kids at Scottrade Center, watching their favorite athletes and favorite team perform right here in St. Louis. Leads us to our dirt cheap snapshot of the game, and this was a couple of afternoons ago. The Blue Note Kids Club, great job of getting everyone involved on the concourse here. And there's Kevin Shattenkirk, always the great guy, and make sure he's there for questions and answers. He signed autographs with these kids. They had some great questions as well, so great to see these kids get involved. And obviously we'd like to see Shatty on the ice, but he's a terrific MC.
I'm sure he is, and he is on the ice, but not ready to join the Blues as of yet, coming off that surgery. But it's great news, Darren, that he is skating, and hopefully he'll be back in a few weeks. Now the Blues to center ice, tipped by Steen, and then moved along by Pietrangelo. And he goes wide. Shot for 6-4 for the Blues, but they're down by 1. And then funneled back of the goal by Gilbert. Tarasenko there. And then a shot by Steen on goal. Price makes that save. And then Tarasenko against Gilbert. And then Gallagher flips it off a leg. Almost came in front. And then Beaulieu. And he goes for a skate back of the goal. Stastny on the ice now with Yashkin and Schwartz. These new look forward lines for the Blues. Hoping to score some more and get some renewed energy. And then Gunnarsson off the boards. That's chipped ahead Yashkin. Now he gets it back to Schwartz. But that's an offside at the Canadiens line. Well, it's time to bring out your inner Jedi. Star Wars Night with the St. Louis Blues is coming up on March 10th. When the Blues take on Winnipeg, purchase a special Star Wars ticket and receive a Star Wars t-shirt featuring Tarasenko, Schwartz, and Laterra. For tickets, go to stlouisblues.com/Star Wars and enter the promo code JEDI. And may the Force be with you, Darren Pang.
May the Schwartz be with you. I jumped the gun on you there, JK. Sorry about that.
I knew you were chuckling about something. Here is Stastny for Yashkin. And then Stastny again trying to get it in front. And former Blues first rounder Lars Eller rolls one to center ice. Lindholm at the red line. And he steps up, and now he gets it back in his own zone with 3:40 left in the first period. Whoa. Schwartz almost hit by Eller.
Yeah, he had to be quick right there, that's for sure. One hand on his stick and went up the heel of his stick, and then make a real quick move back to his left.
And now Berglund down the wall. Here is Backes. Gilbert turning. And flips it on to center ice. And now Cole for Oshie. Nice blind pass, but on the tape of Berglund. He dumps it in. Backes in there quickly. And along with Oshie. And then Beaulieu fires one to the near side. Ian Cole quickly in from the right point. And then a hit by Berglund. And the puck chipped to center ice by the Canadiens. Recovered by the Blues. Oshie now in for Backes. Trying to go back to the slot. Intercepted there by the rookie Thomas. Kept in. Backes centers it. Off a skate toward Price. And now a hit in the corner by Oshie. Oshie gets it low for Berglund. And then he uses his big body. And then back for Oshie. Puts it in front. Here's Berglund. Back for Cole. And now Berglund again to Cole. Winds and fires it, and that goes wide of the goal. And then the Canadians take over. In the Holtra to center ice for Bournival, and a shot off Cole's leg, and then a big hit by Backes. Now Markov a drive on goal, and a save by Allen. As Backes laid up Bournival in behind the Blues goal. And it comes back to Markov again. Switches sides with Subban. And tracked all the way back to the goal by Oshie. Now centered, it goes through the slot. And then Thomas, the rookie.
Christian Thomas, the son of former NHLer Steve Thomas, for his first goal in the NHL this year. Got his first NHL scrap just a game ago against Matt Calvert of Columbus.
And his dad was quite the goal scorer. What a shot he had.
Well, they both scored 50 goals in Major Junior A hockey. It's the only father-son combination to do that.
And now Prost back to the goal for Weiss with 90 seconds left in the first period. And now Price again. Prost against Pietrangelo. And then Gotch down low. He's bothered by Delarose. Canadians keep it moving. And then back to the corner. Good job and a good read there by Gotch. And now the Blues up the boards. Reeves mauled there by Tenorti. And then scooped high in the air. And now Gotch finally tips to center ice.
Oh boy, one touch pass. He was trying to find Reeves down the right side.
And then back at center ice, Ott is involved with Weiss. Right in front of you, Darren Pang. And now Reeves and Tenorti get involved. And at least one penalty has been called.
The shove there by Ott was more towards Delarose as they were going for line change.
St.
Weiss
Louis
had come
penalty,
in second.
2 minutes roughing.
And he only gives one minor penalty there. Ott initiated the contact, but he was just following through on a hit right at the Blues bench here. There's the hit right there on Weiss, and he kind of right there gives him a little shove there as well. Right, Delarose is there. There's nothing going on with Delarose. Reeves tries to come in, nothing going on there. So it's the initial contact with Dale Weiss that gets called.
And the Canadians on the power play. Their power play is ranked 25th. That's 16.7%. They win it back. Markov to Subban, a shot on goal and a save by Allen. And then Backes ahead for Pietrangelo.
That's a heavy one-timer right there. Markov and Subban are just so good together. I mean, you know, we can compare it to the way Steen and Shattenkirk work it on the points, even though one's a forward, but they just feed off of each other extremely well.
Oh, what a clear there by Jake Allen.
Good play. Jake's got some good hands. We've said that before. Good athleticism there and reads that play perfectly.
Now 25 to go in the period. That's dumped in by Markov. Gunnarsson back quickly around to Jackman. And hard off the glass into Canadians territory. With 10 to go in the period. Now Markov for Subban. Desharnais tips it in deep. And then Gunnarsson just rags the puck back of the Blues goal. That will do it. And the power play will continue into the second period. Galchenyuk, the only goal at 13:22. And the Canadians with a 1-0 lead after one. Let's go to Pat and Bernie.
All right, John Kelly, thank you very much. So this Blues crowd had a little bit to cheer about, but not so much on the scoreboard right now, trailing 1-0. But Bernie, had to like what you've seen so far out of some of these line combinations tonight.
Yeah, good energy, and I thought there was some good chemistry, really, as the Blues, you know, again, this is all new. We keep talking, there's still duos out there together, so it's just really the left winger that has been swapped on all three lines. But as the game progresses, you know, obviously they need to get more scoring chances, but they did have a couple of good scoring chances. Unfortunately, though, not able to score again in the first period.
Yeah, again, one of the problems so far, outscored 6-0 on this homestand in the first period. Don't forget, it's the St. Paul GM Country Intermission Report, and it's coming up next on your home of the Blues, Fox Sports Midwest.
But Terry Lindbaum was telling us this morning that he likes the smaller ice surface. It suits him a lot better than the 100 by 200 he played over in Europe. In 11 games, he's averaging 13 minutes, but his reads have been exceptional. And in the first period, because the Montreal Canadiens do use the boards a lot in their own zone, but Terry Lindbaum with a couple of very, very good reads. He had 4 pinches in that period. 3 of the 4 kept the play alive. Again, another good read right here. And you can see as soon as he goes down there, he's got a forward there for support. That was Schwartz. And here you have Dmitry Yashkin. He identifies that the defenseman's going in deep as low as the hash marks. There's Yashkin up at the right point. So good support. And of course, good preparation, knowing that Montreal does like to use the boards a lot.
Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. A minute to go in Ott's minor. So the Canadiens on the power play. And now Berglund along with Backes. And they get the puck to center ice. Backes one-on-one, and a shot is high and off the glass. Now Gallagher to center for the Canadiens. Trying to squeeze by Bouwmeester. Run to the corner by Backes, and a heavy hit. And Desharnais to Markov for Subban. And he fakes it. Now lets it go. Blocked by the stick of Backes. And shoveled to center. A high stick there by Subban. And that will bring the faceoff all the way back in the Canadian zone. BMO Harris Bank wants you to show your sign in support of the Blues. Tweet a picture of you and your sign to hashtag BMO Blues Sign Contest for a chance to win Blues prizes and have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. Visit BMOHarris.com/Blues Sign Contest or visit a local branch near you. And the puck goes out of play, and time to a little shutout for Nick Caruso. 75 years old for Nick Caruso. Happy birthday, Nick.
Well, Nick will like David Backes starting off this second period. A couple of real big hits here early on. One at the penalty box area where he drilled PK Subban as Subban dumped that puck in on the power play. And then another one as he gets in there on the forecheck. And he also had a shot on goal while shorthanded off a feed from Berglund.
And Nick's granddaughter, Mimi, will be 14 on Saturday. So happy birthday to Mimi Caruso.
Happy birthday, Mimi and Nick.
Now Subban at the line, holds it in. Here is Galchenyuk, who has scored the Canadiens' goal. Subban winds and fires, and a right pad save by Allen. And now Ott is back. Eller to the corner. Galchenyuk in front. Placanitz turns and fires it. And a save by Allen. The Habs had 2 shots on that power play. And it's walked along by Ott. And off the corner in front, steered wide by Price.
Yeah, the angle of that dump, it was just off the mark by Ott. It went right to Carey Price, and that's an area that they want to eliminate any kind of plays from Carey Price because he is so good with the puck.
And now it is Gilbert. And a cross-corner dump it. Of course, Price was the goalie for the gold medal winning Canadiens last year. Darren, in 5 games in Sochi, he allowed 3 goals. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
3 goals in 5 games.
Yeah, he's got great disposition.
Now Delarose, after a turnover and a shot blocked. And the Blues the other way with numbers, led by Tarasenko. Play is onside. He gets it back from Steen. Into Cole, a shot. He just missed. Top corner.
Tried to go high to the glove side against the grain. That was a perfectly executed setup, utilizing that weak side D.
And now a pass into Tarasenko. And he has it knocked away by Gilbert. Tipped to center by Frost. And recovered by Bouwmeester.
Well, Gilbert complaining that Steen might have got his stick in the hands a little bit in that corner.
Now tipped along by Schwartz. And Beaulieu hounded there by Yashkin. Puck free. Schwartz trying to center. And then knocked out of the slot area by Beaulieu. Canadiens to center. Pacioretty in the clear. And a save by Allen. He doesn't know where it is.
No!
And it's between his legs, and he gets the whistle.
I said that in the open. You look at the majority of the goals scored by Max Pacioretty. He brings it to his forehand, and he always tries to go between the legs. But Brendan Gallagher, number 11 on the right side, makes a heck of a pass. You see that Bouwmeester, a left-hand shot. He thought Gallagher was going to go to Bouwmeester's left, so he had to stick in that lane, and Gallagher put it in the middle. And there's the save again, right between the legs. And you can see that at this point, Jake Allen's not quite certain that he's got that puck.
Pacioretty was the 3rd star of the week last week in the NHL with 4 goals and 6 points. And Desharnais for the Canadiens, hammered in by Jared Tenorti.
Pacioretty's got 24 even strength goals. That is very impressive. third best in the NHL.
And now it is Oshie, tipped along by Backes over the boards.
Ooh, that's
at the Blues bench.
I tell you, that's not just near the bench. That comes quick. That's a redirection that Ray Barilli took that right in the right elbow. And that is coming fast. Picking up steam as it deflects off the stick. Ooh.
Well, you know as well as anybody, Darren, you've got to keep your head up. On the bench or in the penalty box or between the benches. Now it is dumped in by Michael Bournival. And that's an offside.
Well, it's not just the fans that are, in the seats, but you can see this pass there by Oshie, and you see the way the angle of the stick is turned over there by Backes, elevating it. That's a good redirection if you're in front of the net.
Well, the intent was the right thing there, Darren. After tonight, the Blues go on the road for 5 in a row and 11 of 14. Galchenyuk with a shot. He scores! How did that find its way in? And it's 2-0 as Galchenyuk has scored twice.
That's a severe angle right there. Lars Eller is pushing to the paint, and he's pushing towards Carl Gunnarsson. And the left-hand shot from that angle, I mean, his stick blade is closer to the goal line. You can see if it was a right-hand shot, he'd have a better, or create a better scoring angle. But from this angle, Plekanec wins the face-off cleanly, and Galchenyuk just turns and spins from a sharp angle right there. Now, from that angle, again, hard to tell where it goes through. It goes short side between the right elbow and the stick of Jake Allen.
And it's 2-0, the goal at 3:11. And now Lindbom back of the Blues goal. Trying to move it away. Get some help from Laterra. Plekanec gets the only assist on that goal. And a real weird one on Jake Allen.
Yeah. Well, Montreal continues their face-off dominance in this game. The Blues were only 36% in that first period.
And they're number one in the league.
Yeah. Well, Blues are pretty darn good themselves.
No, I said the Blues are number one. The Canadians are two.
No, I know. Yeah. Not in this game, though, huh?
No. And a penalty called here. I think
minor
Subban.
Penalty on PK Subban. Taking down Lindbom. Second minor penalty here for PK Subban in this game. He also set up the first goal of the game.
Montreal penalty number 76, 2 minutes for holding.
On a shot pass to Galchenyuk in the first period. But you can see the puck is behind Subban, and Lindbom is reading it perfectly, and you can see that. Whoop. Boy, that's dangerous for both players right there.
And the Blues go to the power play for the second time.
Boy, do they need this.
And Stastny wins it. Back for Gunnarsson to Pietrangelo. Now Stastny for Gunnarsson. He winds and fires it on goal, and a glove save by Price.
Did he make that look easy? That puck's a little bit too high, though. If you want traffic in front of the net like that, you're trying to time that so that you've got movement going from one side to another. And there's Dmitry Yashkin getting there, and as Yashkin just is getting to that area, trying to take the eyes away from the goaltender, but you can see Carey Price sees that all the way.
And now the Blues on the power play. Work one to the far side. Kept in by Gunnarsson. But now a pass by Gilbert, and that goes all the way down the ice. And Allen, some stick handling back of the goal, leaves it for Gunnarsson. And 30 gone to the power play. Now to center for Schwartz. Right up the middle. Schwartz can't get a shot. And then backhanded out of the zone by Gilbert.
That was good defending by his former World Junior Team Canada teammate, Nathan Bayou. Brendan Gallagher also on that team. So is Devontae Smith-Pelly, JK.
Yeah, the newest Canadian. Now it is Gunnarsson for Pietrangelo. And that's an offside. Laterra was in on left wing.
Well, now you've got 5 forwards all coming out on the ice for this power play unit. Only one shot there that came off the stick of Gunnarsson. A lot of pressure on the point man for the Blues there by Montreal on that last sequence.
The Blues in the power play only 1 for their last 18 on home ice in 7 games.
Well, got to execute getting into the zone and then have the patience to set up shop once you do get in there.
And now they go with 5 forwards. Oshie stripped at center ice, but it's carried on by Backes. Puts his shoulder down, trying to go wide on Greg Patrick. And the Canadians shoot it off the glass and now over the glass. And I believe off of Blues players, so the faceoff will come to center ice.
And Backes is arguing that it should be on the inside, but clearly the faceoff is going to be in the neutral zone. There's Backes with speed here, maybe a little frustration too. They're the second power play unit, and I know they were trying to hurry off that first one after things weren't going, and then there was a faceoff, so they 5-man forward unit got to jump onto the ice, but Backes was in a hurry to gain the zone and looked like he wanted to just get that back to the points as soon as he got in there.
And Steen fires it in, knocked down in front by Laterra. As Price gave it away, but the Blues couldn't get a shot on goal. And now the Canadians come in. Beaulieu short-handed, and a shot that was probably going wide, blocked, thrown down. Steen long pass to center now for Tarasenko. In for Laterra. In the slot, Backes to Steen. He winds up at a shot blocked by Malhotra. And Tarasenko gets it far side. Canadians are back at full strength. One shot on the power play. Backdoor feed. In from Backes. He scores! Backes from Tarasenko.
This is just an incredible pass by TJ Oshie. As Oshie on the left boards takes a hard pass from Alexander Steen. Oshie waits and waits and waits until he fires it across to the face-off dot on the right, which is Tarasenko. Tarasenko to Steen. Steen quickly over there to Oshie. Oshie's pass here is a thing of beauty. Over 2 sticks. And then once Tarasenko gets it, he knows where he's going to. He waits right there for Beaulieu to commit a little bit, and David Backes is wide open. That's a 3-foot tap in, John Kelly. That's one that you can bang home there.
And he hits the 20-goal mark for the 5th time in his career.
And that's why TJ Oshie went and corralled the puck.
Tarasenko and Oshie get the assist and a huge goal at 6:01. So the Blues captain gets them right back in the game. After some brilliant passing, it cuts the Canadians lead to 2-1.
Well, the Blues climbed back into the game, and remember, after the second period started, David Backes really got going on the physical side of it. But here's the players that are involved in this goal right here. As we take a look at the way in which this puck gets moved around. Steen, and he goes for a change. He actually is going to make that play there and go for a change. And then David Backes slides into the middle of the net. But that's just an unbelievable pass there from TJ Oshie. Soft mitts, flat like you read about, right on the tape. And Tarasenko knew exactly where he was going to go to.
Yeah, and his pass was pretty good as well.
Yeah,
and yes, 2-1.
Yesterday in practice, they were successful in utilizing that play a few times, mostly in the higher slot, but the way that Nathan Beaulieu committed over there, it ended up being a pretty easy play, I think, anyway, from Tarasenko's point of view.
And it's dumped in by Eller, one of 3 first-rounders the Blues had in 07. Eller, Perron, and Cole. And now to center ice. And here's Eller. Out of Denmark for Galchenyuk, and he fires it back to the Blues goal. Blues have been outshot 4-3 in this period. Shots are even for the game. Blocked at center by Gilbert. And his pass down the wing, turned away by the Blues. Now Oshie trying to get it. He does for Backes. And Backes pulls up on the wall. Back on the line for Lindbohm. And his shot hits the back of the goal. Oshie gets it off the mesh. Now for Berglund. And then Berglund down low. Darnay, good read there for the Canadians. And this bounces back into Blues territory. And Bouwmeester now for Pietrangelo. And he was almost stripped of the puck at the line. Gilbert gets it. Former teammates of Elliott and Wisconsin. Now in for Delarose. And then back to the cage for Prost. Chased by Pietrangelo, and he picked his pocket. And now Bouwmeester works into center ice for Berglund. And then Delarose back in his own zone. 8 minutes gone here in the second. Canadians into the zone. Prost.
Oh, good play there by Alex Pietrangelo, getting right to the puck carrier immediately.
Now down the wing to Yashkin. And he pulls up to make a play in the slot for Jackman, wide open. Another shot, and Stastny was wrong. On the rebound attempt by Price. Two great chances there. First Jackman and then Stastny.
How did that not go in?
The pad of Price, that's how. And now the Blues with it. Cole. In for Stastny to Schwartz. And off his stick, and then Schwartz goes into the end boards. And he became entangled in the corner at Patterson. And Schwartz looks around.
Well, the timing of it, there was no chance in the world that Schwartz was going to be able to stop after he collided there with their defenseman, Patterson.
Unfortunately, it appears to be fine.
At full speed ahead. I think Schwartz was lucky that he was able to put himself into a protective position here after that pass. You can see that the defenseman trips him up. He's
that should have been a penalty.
It should be, you know. And here's that chance before here by Dmitry Yashkin on the back end, right there to Barrett Jackman. He goes to the stick side, and it looks like the rebound's right there for Stastny. Stastny right on the doorstep, and see the grin on the face of Schwartz. He seems to be just fine after that.
Gotch wins it from the Holtra. And now Cole tips it back on the goal for Reeves. Against Subban. And then Gotch trying to knock it away. Here's Markov. Up the boards. Cole with his right skate. Trying to hold it in. It comes to center. Jackman now back in the Blues line. And his pass for Gotch. Knocked out of midair by Subban. He's hit by Reeves. As the Blues pick up the physicality here. And now it's the rookie Tristan Thomas.
What's the defenseman supposed to do right there? Jackman's not allowed to hit him in that play. Smart play by Thomas to just push it beyond the defenseman.
And some heavy hitting in the corner to the left of Allen. And the puck comes in front, taken care of by Jackman. And now up the wing. Reeves will tip that one. And this goes over the glass on the far side.
Well, when you look at that save by Carey Price on Paul Stastny, keep your eye on the backhand passes, outstanding pass, and Jackman reads the play perfectly. There's the save. Now watch the rebound here, right there. Oh, what a save that is. The top part of the right pad as Carey Price does the splits on Stastny, who, by the way, did a brilliant job of picking, 5 of the 6 Oscar choices correctly.
Very nice. Every month the Canadians give out a Player of the Month award. It's called the Molson Cup. And the winner in October was Price. He won in November. He won in December. And he won in January.
Who do you think the team MVP is?
I would say Carey Price.
Right up there end of the day for that Vezina Trophy as well. And maybe some MVP votes.
Exactly. Now Backes at the line for Gunnarsson. A shot tipped by Berglund. That would not have counted, though, as he tipped it out of midair above his shoulders. And now the Canadians throw it down the ice in an icing call.
Well, our BJC difference maker from the Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price. The lowest goals against average since 1943-44. You see Jacques Plante in 55-56. Then Carey Price. There's the redirection there by Berglund. Above his shoulders, over the crossbar as well. But Montreal ends up icing the puck.
So a break for the Blues.
Yep.
Now Laterra against Tarasenko. And the faceoff was won by Plekanec after Laterra tried to drop it back to Tarasenko. Now Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. And then Steen into the Canadian zone. Long pass, trying to get Gallagher behind the Blues defense.
Great pick off there by Alex Pietrangelo. That's just hockey sense. He read that through the neutral zone and wasn't hesitant. He was on his toes the whole way.
Now Steen back in his own zone. And then Bouwmeester. Look out. Steen almost collided with Subban.
Yeah. Bouwmeester had Pietrangelo. That was the outlet going through the neutral zone with speed with his right D partner.
That's fired in by Laterra. Yashkin trying to put some pressure on Markov. And they battle for the puck. Yashkin gets it free. Pietrangelo. And now Tarasenko, and his shot was blocked by Markov. 9:08 to go in the second period, and the Canadians lead 2-1.
Hitch has switched up the left wingers prior to this game. What are your thoughts so far as you've stuck with them?
Well, we're coming on. You know, we're starting to play with some confidence. We're a little bit tentative in the first again, playing not to lose. Now we're starting to play, so hopefully we can keep building on this. I like the way we're playing right now.
Easy to say get traffic on Carey Price, but how difficult is it to do so?
Well, it's not the traffic. It's that anything that you funnel, which is good for most goalies, he pushes it perfectly to his exit strategy. So they use shots on goal with him as an exit strategy. Only goalie in the league you do that against.
Thanks, Hitch.
And of course, Hitch coached Carey Price last year in the Olympics under Mike Babcock. And Darren, the one word he kept using today, talking about Price, was how calm he is in goal. I mean, regardless of the situation, he's so calm in goal. And a backhander by Stastny. He looked calm and cool there with a pad save.
Well, it's easy to be calm, but to combine calm competitiveness and have that ability is a rarity. But I think the disposition that he shows under fire is what's impressive.
Now it is Rice for the Canadians. And his pass blocked, and now Berglund goes for a skate back in his own zone to Jackman, center ice.
And the other thing, too, John Kelly, I think a big change in Carey Price's game comes on the heels of Marc Bergevin hiring Stefan Waite. And Bergevin worked with Waite in Chicago while Bergevin was in management. They had a chance to get him, and he has really done some great things with the goaltender, Carey Price.
Now it is Berglund. He'll throw it back of the goal for Oshie. Turns off the wall, a shot or a pass intended for Backes, and now Lars Eller recovers for the Canadians. And then Eller was hit by Oshie. And then chipped along by Plekanec. And a collision back of the goal. Plekanec there for the Canadians. To the line, Markov, and a shot, and that's a head-hunting shot. Hits the glass.
Oh, Lehtera did a good job of just getting his head out of the way.
Thank goodness, and now it's Subban, and a shot. Allen has no stick here.
Yeah, someone's got to push Allen. There we go. He's got it now.
Now he has a stick, and Lehtera has the puck. 3-on-2 into the zone, and a shot back against the grain, just wide. And held in by Lindbom, but not for long. Long pass, Pacioretty, partial break here, and a save by Allen on Pacioretty.
And again on the strong side, the Montreal Canadiens spring Pacioretty loose. Boy, you've got to be so careful of how you manage the puck. And Lindbom gets a little caught in between in this play here, keeping it in, but as he keeps it in, now it goes back to the defenseman who just springs up that left winger, Max Pacioretty. He is gone. And again, he's trying to go, well, there it looks like he's trying to go between the arm and the side of the body on the glove side. As my vantage point, Jake Allen gives him 5-hole and quickly goes down and takes that away, even though it was off to Jake Allen's left on the glove side.
Max Pacioretty, 29 goals on the year, 7 game winners. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Blues. Schwartz, he delays, now a shot, and that was blocked by Jared Tenorti. They're the Canadians on the counter. And a high shot by Pacioretty. Hits the glass all the way around to center ice. And then blasted back in by Gallagher. Tipped by Bouwmeester to his partner Pietrangelo. And around for Schwartz, who gets a piece of it.
And Schwartz knew that Tenorti was coming in on a big pinch, so got to make sure it gets beyond Tenorti. He did a good job there.
And of course, he's the son of longtime NHLer Mark Tenorti. And now gloved in by Gallagher.
Another good read by Tenorti, the former first-rounder. Through the neutral zone, he took space away from Ryan Reeves as the puck got to Reeves' skates.
Now it is hot. Backhand feed for Pietrangelo. Oh, and he takes a hit, but gets it in deep.
And he was losing his balance as he was getting it in deep.
And then Thomas works one to center ice. Michael Bournival from the wing, a shot. Juggled a bit by Allen. Now play to the corner. Now centered by Thomas, and a shot partially blocked. And the Blues have it again. Ian Cole, nice outlet feed for Gotch. Steers it back on the Canadiens' goal. And now around for Malhotra. He is hit hard by Reeves. And then Ott in the corner, works over Gilbert. And the puck to center ice. That's dumped in. And
that's got to hurt.
We have Reeves back at the Blues bench. Involved there with Bournival.
Wow, man, did Ryan Reeves hit Bournival hard. Did he hit him hard?
I need one. I need one.
And we might get penalties here.
Well, Ryan Reeves has targeted a few players so far in this game, and he and PK Subban having words there, but it's Ryan Reeves that's going to go off. And Bourneval is as well. But here's a big hit on Manny Malhotra on the left side, and then Ryan Reeves darts up the ice in this one here. And that's right to our right here between the benches, and that first one, impact was heavy. Bourneval kind of gets up on his skates, so it's right around that waist, those ribs that go right into the top end of the boards. Michel Therrien looks on, and anytime you get a veteran coaches like that, it's a fun chess match that you see as well. The Montreal Canadiens are certainly not one of the biggest teams in the NHL, but they are a very intelligent team. They position on the ice is smart. And even without Carey Price, they challenged the New York Rangers last year in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And they lost in 6 to the Canadiens in the East Final.
Price only played the first game before Kreider ran into him, and Justin Tokarski came in and did a pretty good job.
So we go 4-on-4. As Reeves and Bourneval get roughing minors. Now Pacioretty. To the line to Subban. Looking for a shooting lane. Now Plekanec. He gives it up, and Backes recovers to the Blues.
That's good stick-on-stick there by Lindblom.
Now Backes to Steen. He sneaks in on right wing. And a shot by Steen was off a stick wide. Now Steen in front. Pietrangelo with it, and Drellin partially blocked. And it goes into the pad of Price. And now Subban and Backes doing some pushing. Under 5 to play in the second period. Montreal up by 1.
Well, for Michel Therrien, the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, his main horse on the back end there is PK Subban. He and of course Markov, but David Backes, I mean, he is a ferocious forward checker. And when he can get a little speed and get on you, and you've got your head down, he is dangerous. He came out in the second period, and he just came a-flying. And obviously not happy with what happened in that first period. That's why you wear the letters on your sweater. Go out there and lead by example. David Backes has led the charge here in this second period.
David Backes in his last game had 12 minutes in penalties and just passed the legendary tough guy Bob Gassoff. Backes now 7th all-time with 868 minor or penalty minutes. And we know how tough Bob Gassoff was.
As tough as they get.
Yes, he was. Now the Canadiens still 4-on-4. Here comes Gallagher. Back to the line, and a high shot nowhere near the goal by Beaulieu. And off the boards, Tarasenko now for Bouwmeester. And on for Pietrangelo. And then into Tarasenko. And his pass back, intended for Bouwmeester, blocked 2-on-1. Gallagher and Desharnais. Here's Gallagher right in, and he scores on a 2-on-1. Gallagher.
Gallagher, perfect shot, low to the stick side on this 2-on-1 break. Alex Pietrangelo, the lone man back on this 2-on-1 break. Tarasenko tries to drop it back, but it's in the wrong spot there for the defenseman, Jay Bouwmeester. And you can see that Pietrangelo respecting the playmaking ability here, staying on his skates for as long as he can, leaving the shot to the goaltender. And Gallagher easily beats Jake Allen inside the post on the stick side.
And the Canadiens lead by 2 again. A shot by Schwartz wide. And now Gunnarsson with 30 to go in the matching minors. And then down low for Oshie. Gallagher gets the goal unassisted. At 15:49. And Subban drops it off. Now Markov tipped in deep by Subban.
In a recent game, PK Subban was on the ice for 4 minutes and 6 seconds. One shift.
Now Schwartz for Lindblom. Winds and fires it, tip just wide. And that didn't miss by much. And now Steen. And his pass back. Out of the box, Bourneval, breakaway, and he scores! Michael Bourneval, and it's 4-1.
I cannot believe this pass goes tape to tape like it does. out of the penalty box, Bourneval and Ryan Reeves. Bourneval on the visiting team is at the far end of the box. He comes out there, and as soon as the Montreal Canadiens get control of the puck, he is gone. But this puck wasn't flat. You're late in a period where a lot of times this puck's going to flutter a little bit. Galchenyuk puts it absolutely right on the tape. And then Bourneval waits for Jake Allen to go down, and Bourneval's looking high glove the whole way. And that's a goal scorer's goal right there. What a shot from their fourth line left winger.
His first goal in 19 games, third of the year. 2 goals in 49 seconds, and the Canadiens lead 4-1. And now the puck at the line. And then back in offside. Well, February is American Heart Health Month, and Fox Sports Supports is proud to recognize the American Heart Association's commitment to building healthier lives. Visit foxsportsupports.com for more information. Well, late in the second period, Canadiens leading 4-1. Goals from Gallagher and Bourneval 49 seconds apart. Yashkin comes in and a shot, and that's blocked by Gilbert, and it goes out of play.
That's a good pass by Paul Stastny. Paul Stastny waits for the defenseman to come towards him, and as good distributors do in the middle of the ice, he waits for Yashkin, and he feeds Yashkin, who has that puck just slightly redirected. As we go back to that last goal that was scored, as we see, stop it here if we can. Look at the fine line of that pass right there. Oh my goodness, right on the tape, over Gunnarsson's stick, just beyond Reeves' stick, and Nathan Beaulieu, just a left-hand shot, just walks in there as if he's done that 1,000 times before. Made that look easy, didn't he?
Yeah, Bourneval from Galchenyuk and Eller at 16:38. And the puck goes up in the air out of play.
Yeah, my mistake. Bourneval, excuse me. Oh, it might have glanced just ever so slightly off the bottom of the blade, and that's the part where I saw where it was kind of on end and rolling. By the time it got, though, to the left winger Bourneval, it was flat. With speed, no way Reeves going to catch him there.
And the Canadiens win the faceoff. Subban, a pass blocked. And now walked along by Oshie. He lost it, followed up by Berglund, now for Pietrangelo. He feeds it back for Oshie. To Backes. Nice pass back. Here's Bouwmeester. A drive. Tipped just wide, maybe by Oshie. And Pietrangelo. For Oshie again. A drive. He scores! Oshie! And it's 4-2.
Well, Alex Pietrangelo's free to roam here. Does a good job using his instincts, acting like a forward, and Alex Pietrangelo gets up on the right side. TJ Oshie reads it. As Pietrangelo got it in deep, TJ Oshie backs him up. So there's Pietrangelo with the puck. And there's the tail end of it, but the sequence happened long before that with some little movement as that just glanced off the left leg. There's no way that the goaltender sees that one. When you're talking about taking the eyes away from the goaltender, David Backes does a terrific job. But even before that, Pietrangelo was in down low on the right side. Oshie had backed him up, and the play continued on.
So it appears it'll be Oshie's goal, his 17th at 17:45. And it's 4-2. Now the Blues into the forecheck. Eller lost it. Tarasenko. Now for Lindbohm. And then Laterra. And they give the goal to Backes. Here's Gunnarsson for Lindbohm. And the Blues looking for another one. Laterra. Oh, a pass intended for Lindbohm, just off the mark. So Backes gets it from Oshie and Pietrangelo. So he is 2 tonight. The Blues cut the lead to 4-2. Now Gotch up the middle. Rolling puck now. Gotch gets it with 75 to go in the period. To the line for Jackman. And then for Cole. Rolling puck. All he can do is tip one to the corner. And then Ott there for the Blues. Cole in for the point. in the final minute now in the period. Then Ryan Reeves puts it in front and knocked away by the Canadiens. Jackman knocks Prust down. Here's Ott. And Ott's shot blocked in front by Gilbert. And funneled to center ice now for Prust. And then tipped in by Delarose. And Cole fights off a forecheck. Center ice to Reeves, now for Ott. Then he deals one to the end board. Stastny is after it. And now the Canadiens back in their own zone. Patrick lost it. Schwartz to the line. Now Pietrangelo for Schwartz. Great pass and a shot. And a save by Gary Price. Stastny back of the goal. Pietrangelo on drive. That was blocked. Trying to set up Schwartz. His stick is broken. He has to drop it. And the puck at the line. And finally cleared by the Canadiens. Gallagher now in for Prust. Taken to the corner by Bouwmeester, and that will do it. The end of 2 periods. So the Canadiens led by 1 after 1, and now they lead by 2 after 2. Let's go to Pat and Bernie.
All right, John, thank you very much. Didn't lack for excitement in that second period. Unfortunately, the Blues outscored in that period 3-2. So, Bernie, they found themselves down 2 goals now.
Well, we did say that the Blues and the Montreal Canadiens don't score a lot in the first period. That's usually their bad periods. Well, we saw a lot of goals. In fact, we saw 5 goals scored in the second period. But, yeah, this is I like what the Blues did. I mean, unfortunately, they had a couple of bad breaks where Montreal ended up taking advantage of it. But I think if you look at the chances, the Blues had the better of the chances. Right. Now they need to put together a very good third period and hopefully try to get a comeback here and get some points out of this game.
Still plenty more hockey to come. And also coming up, the Jack in the Box intermission report will break this one down. As you see, when the Blues, it was David Backes getting credit for a pair of goals in that second period. Stay with us.
Well, the Blues wrapping up their 4-game homestand and third 2 periods, the Canadiens with a 4-2 lead over the Blues. John Kelly upstairs and Darren Pang down between the benches as usual. And Darren, the Blues could use a little 4-goal period like they had against Boston last week.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, obviously still 20 minutes left to go, and you wonder what Ken Hitchcock's going to do as we begin. It looks like Berglund staying on that line with David Backes, who really had a real big second period and getting the Blues back into this hockey game. You know, the 2 guys that really connected on that 1 goal too, I thought Alex Pietrangelo's game, on his toes, reading the play, getting up there, and he and TJ Oshie really tag team for what turns out to be a big goal in that period. But you can see that Oshie takes the spot of Pietrangelo down low, and Pietrangelo now punts it right back to Oshie at the point. And as this play goes around, you've basically got a sequence of Oshie being down low, Pietrangelo at the point, Pietrangelo moving down low, and then finally he gives it over there to Oshie for the one-timer with David Backes in front of the net. We still thought that glanced off the left shoulder of Carey Price and into the net, and maybe not redirected, but nonetheless, a good setup all the way around, and players that are using their hockey instincts. Maybe not a set play whatsoever, but just hockey instincts. But you keep your eye on the left shoulder there of Carey Price. And it looked to me like it just glanced off that left shoulder. They might have thought it redirected off Backes, and maybe it did. I just didn't think it did. I thought it went off that shoulder there of Carey Price.
Well, the Canadiens win leading after 2, 23-2-1. The Blues win trailing 6-10-1. And the bad news, the Canadiens, their third period, Darren, their best by far. They've outscored their opponents 70-45 in the third periods.
Amazing that they were plus 35 in their last 2 periods and a minus 14 in the first period.
Although the Blues have scored 62 third period goals this year. So they've been good in the final frame. Underway here in the third period. Backes, Oshie, and Berglund begin things for the Blues. They're hit by Berglund back of the goal. Then it comes around to Pacioretty. Trying to knock it out of midair, kept in by Pietrangelo. And now Oshie trying to kick the puck to the corner. And then a shot well wide. Bounces back to Bouwmeester. Funnels one to the end boards now for Berglund. And then Berglund on the cycle. Too hot to handle for Oshie, but there's Pietrangelo again. And he holds it in there. At the line, Backes. Long shot. Tipped by a Canadian player well wide. And then steered high off the glass and then back in offside. Thursday, March 12th is Vladimir Tarasenko bobblehead night as the Blues take on the Flyers. The first 15,000 fans to the gate receive a Tarasenko bobblehead. For tickets, visit stlouisblues.com.
That young man would love himself a Vladdy Tarasenko bobblehead doll. Good first shift right there. As you mentioned Pietrangelo in that first period. Pietrangelo had a good pinch on that right side, keeping the puck in, and David Backes read that. He covered the right point. Then he got it in deep. This is going to be one of those periods where the defensemen got to be on their toes, keeping pucks in and putting a lot of pressure on this young defense as well. When you think of Tenorti and Patterson and Gulio as well, when you look at that young D, I mean, their veterans are really Gilbert, Subban, and Markov without Yemelin and Gonchar in the lineup.
And Darren, as we suspected, they have now changed that goal to Oshie.
No question.
He gets it from Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester at 17:45. So with Oshie's young buddy Chris Hendrickson in the building,
That's great stuff.
he has a goal and 1 assist.
You know, Chris isn't up there with the headset on still, is he?
No, he left.
And there's a secret going around that when this game ends, he's going to get him a nice custom blue sweater.
Sweet. Now Lindbom a drive. Laterra the rebound, puts it in front. And that was up in the air. Steen couldn't knock it down, and Eller now to center ice.
I didn't want to ruin the surprise.
I'm sure Chris appreciates that. As the Blues have the puck at their own line. And Yashkin, he'll throw it deep. And patter it back in his own zone. It did come to center ice. Tipped back in by Stastny. Now the Blues tag up. So this play is onside. And now Stastny at the line. Off a Canadian stick and out of play.
Good start for the Blues to begin this period. All-out attack so far as they make a line change here, and the fourth line will get on the ice. I'm sure that Steve Ott, who just jumps onto the ice, he and his wife Erica, as you mentioned before, Maverick Bradley brought into this world. I'm sure he'd like to bang one home there and bring that puck back.
Would you say his dad is a bit of a maverick himself?
No question. There's no doubt about that. He always loved Top Gun.
Here's Pietrangelo at his own line. Canadians, Thomas back with a goal for Borneval. And now Malhotra. And he was knocked down, and Bouwmeester gets the puck and flips it on to Pietrangelo. And then for Ott into the Canadian zone, but the Blues once again are offside.
Quick change there. The fourth line pops off the ice. Stastny, Schwartz, and Yashkin jump on. Yashkin with that big body of his, JK, he could do himself a favor too. Just drive hard at those posts, back off this defense. Work from the goal line. The goal line down below and jam hard to the net.
Now it is Pacioretty working on Pietrangelo. And then thrown behind the goal around now for Yashkin. And his pass to the line kept in. And a good stick by Pietrangelo. But the Canadians after Gallagher to the line. Beaulieu. Now Pacioretty fans on it. It comes in front. And then Beaulieu fans again. Now Pacioretty a drive and a save by Allen. And the Blues after some trouble on to center ice with Yashkin. And off the corner boards in front. Good forecheck there by Stastny. And he tried to play one in front of the goal. Canadians take over Gilbert off the boards. And back down the ice. And the first man back is Cole. 3:15 gone, third period. The Blues down by 2. Now back, it's hard pass. Picked off by Eller.
Eller was in a good spot there in the neutral zone.
And now Backes again. This time finds Berglund at the Canadian line. He comes in, now a shot, and that's blocked again as Markov got it away. And rolled in deep by Eller. There's Berglund around now for Jackman. And a pass to TJ Oshie. He comes in 2-on-3 for Backes. Now back in front to Oshie, but it was broken up by the Canadians and fired to center ice. And Backes did not clear the zone, delayed offside here. And now the Blues do tag up. And a long pass intended there for De La Rose That goes too high and too far, and an icing call. Cardinals spring training report. There is tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals players give their take on new teammate Jason Hayward. Jim Hayes goes one-on-one with Jaime Garcia and Matt Carpenter and much more. Cardinals spring training preview tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Midwest. And it's just the start of our spring training coverage. We'll have 15 games on Fox Sports Midwest in the month of March. And off the face-off, Yashkin. Rolls off the Gilbert check. And it's on the back of the Canadian goal. Not free. Yashkin gets it. To Lindblom a drive, and that goes wide. And now back on the line. Gunnarsson for Schwartz. And then Lindblom drops down to the corner for Yashkin. And his shot was taken care of by Price. And he has it covered.
Playing the corner there by Yashkin, and another good read by Petteri Lindblom for the Blues down low. Keeps the puck in easily and then gently plays it right back to Yashkin. You see Lindblom, little cycle right here from Yashkin, and then he drives it hard. Jaden Schwartz had read the fact that Lindblom was down low. Jaden Schwartz backed him up. Just a little too severe of an angle.
And the face-off won by Malhotra. And around for Thomas, and the rookie will punch it down the ice. No icing here. And Pietrangelo down to center ice for Steen. That pass intended for Laterra broken up. Canadians drive it back in. Allen sends it around to this side. Oh, Pietrangelo a pass. Hit a stick. And now the Blues recover. Tarasenko for Bouwmeester. And ladled ahead now for Laterra. And that was blocked by Bournival and then flipped in by Malhotra. Thomas centers it, but no one is there for the Canadians. Now Pietrangelo back the other way. And his shot up high. Off the boards. And Berglund a tough angle drive at the back of the goal. Tom Gilbert trying to work it out. Kept in with a great stick by Oshie. And now Backes and Berglund. And it goes by Jackman. And a break for Pacioretty in the clear. And he shot high and wide. Another break for Pacioretty. How does he get so open so often?
Third one in this game. He just sniffs out the loose pucks and he just goes to the offensive side of the puck. I mean, if Jackman bangs that, you know, as it's bouncing and keeps it alive on this side, well, then Pacioretty's, you know, on the wrong side of the puck. But man, he takes good chances. And there he didn't go between the legs. He tried to go to the stick side. And I think that Jake Allen just got a slight piece of that.
Now Jackman on to center ice. Nice pass in for Gotch. Gotch trying to cut to the middle. Looking for Ott. Now Jackman a shot. And a save by Price with his right leg. 13:41 to go in the third period. And we get pushing in behind the Canadiens' goal. With Montreal leading 4-2.
Well, you're talking about Max Pacioretty. Played on the Olympic team last year, Team USA, University of Michigan star. Here's where we see him right here. As he comes in here, Jackman is going to step up here thinking he can keep that in. And there goes Max Pacioretty. And he just tries to go to the stick side, and it just glanced off the blocker of Jake Allen. Ever so slightly, but just enough. That was labeled inside the pipe and in.
He had a career of 39 goals last year. And is one shy of 30 this season. And he could have a couple tonight. Now Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. Off his skate in the slot, Plekanec. Stripped of the puck there by Pietrangelo. And he gets to the line. Keller breaks it up. Held in by Stastny. And knocked out of midair by Plekanec. And he did so with a high stick, and now it goes out of play. So they'll bring the face-off back in the zone.
Yeah, face-off really left to Carey Price. Blues bench all over that there as Steve Ott had a big hit right there in front of us between the benches, and Bournival takes the hit there as David Backes following through, and that was a minor penalty on PK Subban. Reeves and Bournival each went off for roughing on that play there, but unfortunately for the Blues, Bournival came out of the penalty box and was sprung loose off a Galchenyuk pass and scored on the breakaway.
And a bit of a different look here Yashkin now on with Laterra and Tarasenko. Still plenty of time to go here. Blues down by 2. And Subban from the faceoff around to Prost. Then back to center ice. Now Yashkin for Pietrangelo. And then Tarasenko for Yashkin. He bumps right into Weiss. And now big Dale Weiss comes in front of Prost, and he tips it just wide of Allen. And now Prost back of the goal. Worked around by Pietrangelo. Tarasenko for Laterra. Tarasenko again with no speed, so he dumps it in. And then Subban lifts it high in the glass. And a break to center. Prost 2-on-1 with Weiss. Weiss comes in to Prost. And a diving save by Allen. His best save tonight.
Well, late developing play, and Allen had enough time reading that play and got over there to his right. What a brilliant save.
And a bit of a slow change here by the Blues. And they finally get all 5 players on the ice. And it's fired all the way down by Beaulieu. Aaron, that was set up after the puck hit a seam in the glass.
Yes, it did.
The Blues didn't know where it was.
Exactly right.
Leading to another 2-on-1. Now Lindbom for Gunnarsson. Hot pass on to Oshie. He gets it deep. And then Beaulieu plays it around for Desharnais. And the speedster comes in 2-on-2 with Gallagher. For Pacioretty, a shot. And that got through. And then Cole will just tip it back under the pad of Allen. And now Backes and Pacioretty having words.
2 teammates in Sochi going at it, but Backes is just defending his goaltender there as the defenseman played it right back to Jake Allen. Allen covering it up, but brilliant pass by David Desharnais. Going slowly towards the goal line, he passed it back. Here's the play before that. Prost, what a save. Oh, off the knob of the stick. I thought it went off the blocker. There's Jake Allen, gives a little pat right there. He knows exactly what happened. That's the right lie of the stick right there. And because it was slow in developing, you know, Jake Allen was waiting and waiting for as long as he could, stayed on his skates knowing that pass was across, and boy, did he push over quickly to his right.
Here come the Blues to center ice. Schwartz for Steen. And then back for Schwartz. Trying to make a play. Throws it back for Jackman.
So the lines don't stay together for the entire game here.
Now the Blues have mixed it up here in the third. Now Schwartz. And he looks around, fires it high. And that's off a Canadian out of play.
Still wasn't a dangerous enough play from that far away. Glanced off a stick. Looked to me like Schwartz was looking just to play it in front of the net for maybe a little redirection. As Steen and PK Subban have words.
And the Blues keep Stastny, Schwartz, and Steen on the ice here. And Malhotra, the wizard in the circle, will take it against Stastny. But Paul Stastny wins it back for Pietrangelo. And now Steen leaves it. Schwartz to the back for Pietrangelo. Trying to hit Steen. Everyone's covered there. Sent back of the goal by Delarose. And then a hard pass for Delarose. And he comes in against Bouwmeester. And played to the corner. And then Pietrangelo hit in there. Now it's Weiss for the Canadians around the goal. And a shot got through, and a pad save by Allen. And the Blues deep in their own zone. Pietrangelo gets it free for Steen. And now Schwartz, look out, takes the hit, gets it high to center ice. And then Steen plays it back. That's the wrong play right now. Weiss comes in, and Allen makes the save. As Weiss had a partial break there.
These are high-quality chances that Jake Allen's stopping now.
Now it's Audit in the wing. And that's broken up by Gallagher. Lindbom tries the right side. And he gets it deep. Now Lindbom again. Puts it off the glass. Puck comes back on the wing. And Lindbom caught there, but the Canadians put it all the way down the ice, and that's an icing call. Darren, that's the second time tonight that the Blues have tried to go back with it, and it's resulted in a great scoring chance.
Yep, off a line change right there. So just a little confusion, wrong play. Dale Weiss nearly puts his game away, but 2-on-1 break that Prost gets stopped on, and then Dale Weiss gets stopped on. They're on the same line with the youngster Delarose. Two good scoring chances for that third line.
Now Gallagher turns, and this will be another icing call against the Canadiens with 10:04 to go.
Well, we knew before the game that Andrei Markov and the Montreal Canadiens were a quick strike team. They've done that here in this game. They've made passes from the bottom of their own face-off dots to almost the far blue line on a number of occasions in this game. They back you off.
And off the face-off, it goes right to Oshie. A shot and a save there by Price. That was the Blues' best chance in this third period. Canadiens lead 4-2.
Now for a Bommarito Automotive Group Sports Update, the Blackhawks tonight hosting the Florida Panthers. Chicago with a power play opportunity midway through the first. Jonathan Taves records his 18th of the season. Then in the second, Christopher Stieg makes it 2-0. Trying to snap a 3-game skid are the Blackhawks. Sean and Darren.
All right, Pat, the Blues 7 behind Nashville, 5 up on Chicago in this hotly contested Central Division. And the Canadiens win a defensive zone faceoff. Subban to center ice for Eller. And Allen sends it on the glass. Tipped by Pietrangelo. Then it rolls to center ice. And Subban breaks it up. And now it comes back to PK Subban. Blues have been outshot 5-4 in this third period. Now Buchanan fires it off the leg of Pietrangelo. And here's Oshie. He can't move it out. And it comes back to TJ Oshie. Oshie and Backes have the Blues goals tonight. Now Yashkin in on the wing. And his shot, a hot one up high and off the glass. Man, was that a hard shot.
Hard. Got to get it between the two pipes, though. Right now, it's a matter of getting more pucks funneled towards that net.
Now it's tipped back of the goal with a high stick by Cole. And
Yashkin's trying to bring that in there from his, kind of on his toe and drag it in there and try to go high to the blocker side. You take a look at the St. Louis Blues. When you take a look at shots on goal, 28 or fewer, the record's 10-8-2. 29 or more, pretty convincing and dominated, 28-9-2. They generate the cycle. They keep sustained pressure. They put the other team's defense on their heels, looking around, causing havoc. But I think with the more talented team you have, the more stubbornness you have in terms of funneling pucks.
Now Tarasenko for Jackman. Tarasenko on with Laterra. And Yashkin. And Gilbert stopped back in the Montreal net. That's tipped away by Gallagher. And now recovered by Cole for Jackman. And then along the wing, Yashkin can't get in. Delarose has it for the Canadiens. Fed back now ahead to Prost.
I tell you, one area that Montreal is doing a great job is they're picking apart that neutral zone. And they're doing a great job. They're getting to their forwards. The forwards are in good lanes, supporting that pass and gaining the zone.
Oh, Schwartz, great pass in front. And then he is run down as Stastny was in the goal crease area, but never got it on goal. And now Pietrangelo ahead for Stastny. And then for Steen, he'll pump it around the boards. And he goes after it. Galchenyuk knocks it out of midair with a legal play. And here comes Prost in one-on-one. In front and a shot. And Allen makes a very good save on Galchenyuk.
Now Galchenyuk got just ahead of Jay Bouwmeester there and creates a quality scoring chance. Brandon Prost has had a great chance in this game on that 2-on-1, and here he cuts back to the middle and then drops it back right there. That's a pretty nifty play there by Brandon Prost. Pietrangelo follows him. Bouwmeester's tying up that stick for as long as possible, but Galchenyuk strong on the twig right there and gets a lot on that.
He's led the Canadiens tonight with 2 goals and 1 assist. And now Malhotra on the faceoff, gets it back. Subban to Markov. He winds up and a shot and a save by Allen. Big rebound in front, knocked to the corner. And Markov again. Subban rolls it around the dasher. And then the rookie Thomas was bumped by Berglund, and the puck trickles to center.
A lot of confidence shown by Michel Therrien. Up by 2, 7 to go, and he's got their 4th line out on the ice against Backes and Oshie.
And Lindblom back in his own zone for Gunnarsson. That pass, look out, Oshie at center. Hit by Subban. Good stick by Ott. As he breaks it up, but now Markov back to recover. And that comes around the boards to Malhotra. And where is it? Up in the air. It bounces back in the blue zone. Gunnarsson for Lindblom. Now Tarasenko into Laterra. Right in front of shot. And that's off a Canadian and wide of the goal. And all the way back at center, it's Pietrangelo. Bouwmeester steers it in. Price blocks it, sets it up for Beaulieu. And his pass on the tape of Eller. And that goes in behind the Blues goal. Nothing fancy for the Canadians here in the third period. They get it out and get it in deep. Eller on the boards. And his shot hits the corner glass. And comes down for Laterra.
We have to think that that's a lot of experience that they gained last year from getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's experience that, you know, the regular season doesn't teach you that. But they're a well-schooled team. And you're right, it's showing right now. 6 minutes to go. The Blues having a hard time putting any fire in here.
And a drive by Steen. That is well wide. And now down low for Stastny. To Steen, a drive, and that was on goal. And a save by Price.
And Steen's stick snapped right in half.
And the Canadians put it off the glass and over the glass. Under 6 to play, the Canadians with a 2-goal lead. Well, tonight on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1, the Combine is over, so what did Mariota and Winston do for their stock? Our draft experts are here with their latest mock draft. Can A-Rod succeed without PEDs? The answer is the question from spring training. Plus 10 other NHL games and highlights from them around the league. All tonight on Fox Sports Live. On the face-off, Backes against Plakanitz. Canadians win it. And a broken stick there. It's a Canadian player, Oshie with it. And he runs right over Eller. Now Bouwmeester. And a shot. And a blocker save by Price. And then Backes goes down. Here's Subban the other way. Up the middle, glove down by Oshie with a good play. And that shot was wide of the goal. And then the Canadians fire it by Pietrangelo. And this will be an icing call.
Well, TJ Oshie's had a very good hockey game here. Obviously scoring a goal, setting up another one here as he battles Plakanitz, who had a broken stick. And then he falls down on that side. And here's the play before that by Stastny a few whistles ago. Right on the doorstep, top of the circles to Alexander Steen. He gets still a pretty good shot considering his stick snapped in half. But that's an excellent backhand pass there by Paul Stastny.
And Stastny will take the face-off against Plakanitz. And the Canadians win it. Kenyuk now for Eller. And the native of Denmark gets it back to the goal. Lindblom quickly up the boards now for Schwartz. 3-on-2. Schwartz trying to cut to the middle. Now for Steen. And he can't make a play. Gunnarsson chopped down in the corner. And then it's Schwartz on the puck. Stastny tips it. Here's Steen for Lindblom. Can't get a shot through. And then Stastny for Schwartz. Tight angle and a shot on goal and a save by Price. And again, the Canadians just shoot it down the ice. Well, come celebrate the life of Pavel Demitra with the Blues and other Blues fans on Sunday, March 8th at 7 o'clock at the Peabody Opera House. The Blues are hosting a one-time only limited engagement of a documentary featuring the life of former Blue Pavel Demitra. Tickets are just $38 and proceeds benefit the 14 Fund and the Pavel Demitra Fund. For tickets, go to stlouisblues.com/38.
Ken Hitchcock will get a chance to regroup as Michel Therrien and the Montreal Canadiens call a timeout. This is a quick play here. Good hands by Schwartz trying to bring it from the backhand to the forehand, and you can see the goaltender's positioning there. It actually goes off his right chest. I thought it went off his left shoulder on the near side, but it does not. And there was room on the far side as Carey Price got a little flat on the goal line there, only because of the great hands of Schwartz. But Carey Price has been terrific once again in this hockey game. See, they wear the number 4 on the right side of their sweaters in honor of the legendary, great Jean Beliveau that passed away earlier this season.
One of the greats of our game. Blues slightly ahead of the Canadiens in the face-off department this year. 4:33 to go. Laterra against Plekanec. Tarasenko gets it off the face-off, and a shot and a save by Price. They did everything right, and Price made the save.
Great save right there.
And now Pietrangelo shovels it back to Tarasenko. To Pietrangelo. And we get a cross-check, and it'll be against the Blues as they had the puck.
Oh, and this comes on the heels of a great scoring chance off the face-off. Oh,
St. Louis
boy.
penalty 23, cross-check.
Offensive zone minor penalty while you have pressure and down by 2. Keep your eye on 23, Jaskin. Oh, it gives him a little bit of a tap there from behind, and Gilbert goes down. There's the shot there by Tarasenko off the face-off win in the left pad of Carey Price. He gets down low and makes that save.
Montreal 0 for 1 tonight. There's Subban to Markov, a drive, rebound, they score! Tipped in off the end boards. And Gallagher makes it 5-2.
You call that a momentum sapping play against Jaskin, and a marginal call, but he does go out of his way and cross-checks just slightly from behind Gilbert. And here you see Desharnais battling David Backes, and the clearing attempt doesn't get by PK Subban. He lays it nicely for Markov, and Markov's shot just misses, and there's the rebound right there as this glances over the pad, comes off the heels of Carey Price making that great save off Tarasenko. Close to making it 4-3. Instead it turns into 5-2.
And the goal by Gallagher at 15:47. Fired in by Reeves. Reeves goes for the big hit in there. And Malhotra will shoot it the other way. And Lindblom back of the goal now for Gunnarsson. And he was stripped. Thomas in front. Bortable a shot. And that was off Gotchin wide. Now back on the line, Tenorti. And it's picked up by Reeves. The goal by Gallagher from Markov and Subban at 15:47 on the power play. And now Pruss comes in for Montreal. That's poked away by Cole. The Blues' next game is Thursday in Winnipeg. And that begins a 5-game road trip, starting at 6:30 with the pregame show. And also a stretch of 11 of 14 on the road starting Thursday. Here comes Prost for Weiss, and he fans on the shot. And Cole now for Jaskin. Laterra, rink-wide feed. Tarasenko, he walks in, drops it back to Jaskin, to Cole, and he hooks that one wide of the goal. And then Cole after it for the Blues. In the slot, Tarasenko right in, and he missed from 30 feet out. He just missed everything. You don't see him miss that badly too often. He'll try again. And he can't get by the Canadian defenseman. Now Lindblom a drive, and that goes off a body wide. And then sailed high to center ice by Subban. With 2:15 to go. Now Steen down the boards. Puts it in front off a body, right on goal, and a save by Price. He had to be alert there.
Yes, he did. Had to be alert for sure. I mean, obviously, he knows preparing for this game that the dangerous shooters are certainly Tarasenko, and this little play here at the very end, just a little redirection here, but here's the play by Tarasenko, and it is it's closer than top of the circles. It's almost to the hash marks, which is right between 20 and 32 feet, according to my dimensions. John Kelly.
Well, Steen from the face-off. Lindblom a drive, tipped on goal by Stastny. And a save by Price. But Darren, you don't often see Tarasenko miss the net that badly from that close.
No, you are right. I mean, there's no question. And he had one good chance there, as we mentioned before, and that one's a redirection down low that goes through the arm, and Carey Price doing everything to keep these pucks out of the net.
And the puck tipped to center ice. Blues have outshot the Canadians 10-9 here in the third period, but the only goal by Gallagher and extends the lead to 5-2. And now Plekanec down the left wing side. Here's Eller against Steen. Stay with us here on Fox Sports Midwest. Missouri Lottery Blues Live is coming up next. And we have a face-off in the blue zone.
Yeah, Plekanec was kind of awkwardly falling down there, so good move by the referee to call that down. You don't want players jabbing away at loose pucks. You know how often these officials want to keep play moving, as they say, when there's scrums along the boards, but when you see a player that's down like that, as you see Plekanec is looking for the puck. It's not a fair catch, I guess. Lindblom makes sure he takes out his man. He's got his stick draped around him as well. Right to the bitter end. Lindblom's going to battle in this hockey game.
Canadians win it back for Tinordi. Now Tinordi has it again. Here's Thomas with it. A drive blocked. And his back has got right in the shooting lane. Now Tinordi punches one back of the goal from Holtrip. And now Pietrangelo defending for the Blues. And it goes to Patrick Berglund. With a minute to go in the third period. So the Blues are going to drop 3 of 4 on this 4-game homestand and now head on the road for 5.
Didn't see that coming. All part of the season, all part of the adversity you face. How your group get out on the road now and turn things around.
And Tinordi a pass up the boards. Weiss gets by Pietrangelo. And then is run off the puck by Reeves. Canadians in front. Across the pass to the corner. And he battles against Cole.
Good balance by Trust. They're leaned right into Cole.
And then back to Tinordi, a shot tipped just wide. And Weiss gets it again. This line's been good tonight for the Canadians. Now Weiss back to the blue line. And a high shot by Beaulieu. Hits the glass, comes around to Reeves. With 10 seconds left in the third period. And the Canadians are going to sweep the regular season series. They won in Montreal 4-1, and the win tonight 5-2 is the final.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens, John, played a pretty sound hockey game here on the road. Blues try to change up. There's 3 left wingers in this game. It didn't stick for the entire game. Carey Price made some key saves, certainly. Time now for our Bud Light Player of the Game. And it is going to be Alex Galchenyuk. 2 goals and 1 assist. There's a number of players for the Montreal Canadiens that could have been there. TJ Oshie had a goal and 1 helper for the Blues in this game. Not enough, though. And
let's go to Pat and Bernie.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. A disappointing night here for the sellout crowd at Scott Trade Center. 5-2 the final. Bernie, we saw the Blues play well at times, but we saw them give up some chances, and it cost them.
Well, what you get behind in a game, especially when you trail by a couple of goals, I think your defense started going up, and the Blues really went with with all offense in that third period. So it's either feast or famine, and they give an awful lot of great chances. Pacioretty had numerous chances tonight. I thought Jake Allen was splendid in the third period because the Blues were taking chances. Price made the save at one end, but the Blues gave him some glaring mistakes.
Right.
So, a tough homestand here for the Blues, but this is a very resilient team, and they'll be ready as they get on this 5-game road trip coming up, and they're going to have to be much better when they get back out on the road.
So the Blues go 1-3 on this just completed 4-game homestand. Don't forget, Missouri Lottery Blues Live, the post-game edition, is coming up shortly on Fox Sports Midwest.